Okay, hello everyone. Welcome back to another VB.NET tutorial. This tutorial we're going to continue our library management system. So last time we finished creating the queue table and the queue information and the queue for the book, that is. And we need to work on displaying the queue for a book. So it needs to be done here at the let's say librarian side. When the librarian selects a book, he can see which students are booking want to book uh, a given, let's say, book or something. So for this, we will have to go here now and just in order to remember things, let's open the tables over here. So we have the queue table, as you can see here. Okay, so the queue table consists of student ID, book ID, and booking order. Problem there. And we have the books. We also have the book ID in it. And we have the students. So obviously all that is need to be done is joining the three tables, and we will have a query, or let's say more like a view that will display each book and the name of the student who want to borrow that book. Okay, so this is how we can do it. Let's go to the date. Well, there are many ways to do that. We could do it using a class. Okay, we can create a class and link that to the view. Okay, we could use query adapter and stuff like that. In our work, we didn't use query adapters. We avoided most of the work done by the wizard and started doing our own classes. So we will move on with such a theme. Okay, so let's go to the database project here. Sorry, let's go to the business part. Okay, so we have book, queue, and okay. So now we will need to create a small, let's say, a record here. So I'm gonna right click and add a new class. I'm gonna say detailed queue entry. Okay, and this entry will not be updatable. Okay, uh, I will add class at the end. Detailed queue entry class add. So this class represents a record for a given book. Okay, and it shows which student want to borrow which book. It's as simple as that. Now to the members. So the members here are simply public. I'm gonna say here student ID. Okay, as long and public book ID. Sorry about that. Actually, it's on top. Yeah, make it public. Sorry. Instead of student ID, I'm gonna say what student obj as student class. Okay, and public book obj as book class. Okay. Now these two members for these two members I didn't create a setter and getter. I will try to access them right away. Now notice here that this is, I'm using a class that is predefined here. Okay, these classes we already created previously, and will perform loading the student information and the book information for us. Now to the important part. Okay, um, so I'm gonna say here public function load booking record as boolean. Oh, sorry. By the way, I forgot one other item. Public uh, order, queue order as integer. Okay, so the queue order, when we are booking, uh, trying to borrow a book, we will get an order. So first student will be the first to be served, next student will be second, and so on. So this is third order. Now, when we want to load a record, we need to this one we have to get the um, ms class. We need this one, followed by student id as long, followed by book id as string. Okay, this function is used to load booking uh, queue record. Now, if you look at the queue table, we need to specify a student ID and book ID and booking order. So the booking order, you could say that this is the booking order. Let me give it the same name here. Booking order. The student ID is part of the student object and the book ID is part of the book object. So they will be contained. So check this out. Information as a string equal dbms dot create result set. So now all we have to do is say select star from queue where student ID equal 0 and book ID equal at 1. So as for student ID and the book ID, this can be book ID, no problem. Okay. Now if not bms.readandcheck file, if the record does not exist, in that case dbms.closeResultSet and we will create a rollback and return false. Now if the record already exists, in this case all we have to do is load the objects. So in this case we're going to say e.student object equal new student class, and then we will load this student. So if not e.student object load from database by id, and there's going to be dbms followed by we need the student id student id there. So this means there's an error, right? So again dbms.closeResultSet, okay, dbms.rollback and return false. Okay, so we only loaded the student information, load the student record. Okay, now by the way, you didn't see me getting the record from the database because the search result for if the record exists, you will reach this point. So there is no need to get the value from database since you already have it. You use that in the filter. Now let's get to the book record, not the book information. Wonderful. So now I'm going to say me.book obj equal new book class, and if not me.book obj dot log from database dbms followed by book id. Again, same things, dbms dot close result set and dbms dot what should we do? Roll back and return false. So we loaded the student and the book, and now the only thing remaining is the booking order, and we would say me.booking order equals dbms get column value. In this case I'm going to say s followed by this one would be what, booking order. This is the name of the column in the database. So this is the only value we get from the database. The rest is random. And dbms.close result set as and return true. This means that the load process was successful. If any error happens, we're going to say dbms.rollback and return false. It is as simple as that. So we finished this one loading a booking record. Good. We might want to test this one, but I will create another method first. So this one will only load a single entry. What we need to do is create another function that will get us multiple entries. Okay, so we're gonna say public shared function. Notice that this is shared, so it's not part of the object itself, but it's part of the class. So you don't need an object. It will work without creating objects here. And here we're gonna say get list, get booking list for book. So what this method does, it will receive a single book ID. Based on that, it will get you all the booking information. Okay, so here we're gonna say dbms as data dbms class. Okay, and here we need book ID as string, and the result is list of details query entry class. Okay, so this method will return a list of objects from the class it is within. Okay, get list of booking details for a book. Simple. Now this is very easy. So dimension as a string equals dbm as with created will set. Now select a star, or select star from queue where, okay, select star from queue where book ID equal at 0, and what's important here is this order by booking order. Nice, right? So here before that dimension result as new list of the entry class. Wonderful. So this will create an empty list. Create an empty list for the results. Get the records. Okay, next. Okay. Now we will start loading. So do while PBMS trade and check not end of file. Okay, so continuing the recording of the video. So here we are gonna look through the records and load each record. So do a fragment check not end of file. The loading will happen here. So dimension tmp as new detailed queue entry class. Okay, so here we created the uh, stid for this is going to be student id as long equals dbms get field get column value. This is going to be s followed by what we need to pass student ID here. Okay, so we get the student ID and next we need to get the book ID. The book ID is already known, so no need to get that. Now we will load the objects. So if not tmp dot load booking record dbms. Next we need to pass stid and the book ID. We already have this one passed as a parameter. And so if an error happened here, then dbms.close result set as, and then we will return nothing. Okay, this is not a boolean function, it returns a true false. So if we get nothing, we know that there is an error. Otherwise, if all is fine, we will say result.add tmp, which is the object we just pulled from the database. At the end, we say dbms.close result set s and return result. If any error happens, we say dbms dbms.rollback and return nothing. So you finish this method, which will get us the list of all book records. So we need to create a tester for them to make sure they work before continuing further. So I'm going to close this one and this one, and let's go to the testing project. There we go, and click on the go. Wonderful. Go to the very end of the project and let's work on testing test process. Okay, what I'm gonna do, there's gonna be testing number 26. Load details from the database. Wonderful. So here, okay. Q2. Let me have a look here. In which part have we created a book? Okay, so here we are creating a book, followed by inserting an queue record into the database. Right? Okay. So you have this part. Okay. So now in this part, here what do we have? I am recreating this object. So we will create another book, and then we will have this flag. Okay, make sure that it gets inserted into the database, and insert to database object false. Okay, so now if not a flag, we are gonna say, what is it? This can be test number 26. Okay, so what this means that when we try to insert the record here, a problem happens. Now if all is fine, we should be able to load the details. So all we need to do is Uh, I'm gonna say here dimension q obj as a new. Just modify a little bit. Control C. Okay, this is gonna q obj obj and obj. Okay, so if all is fine, we need to load that. So we are going to create this object dimension. Uh, uh, let's say details. Let's say booking details as new library management system dot details queue enter class. This one. Okay. So if not booking details load booking record. So we need to pass the database object. We need to pass the student ID. We can get that from the queue object dot student get student ID. Wonderful. And we need to use that queue object dot get book ID. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So basically, this class is just a simplification of what you already have. So it will just load that. So if any error happens here, else. Okay, so we have this is gonna be what 27. Uh, Now the error here is a little bit. What's the number of the test? Oh, 26. I'm sorry. 26 failed. Can't load details. Okay, if all is fine, success. Load booking details. Okay, so this is the first test. Now the next one is probably the important one, which allows us to get the list of booking details here. 27 dot details list from database. So all we need to do is dimension details list as new library management system dot actually this should be sorry, as not new, it's just a list of this type of object. So by default this is nothing, it's the value of nothing. Okay, so now we say details list equal library management system details class and get booking list for a book. So we need to pass the object and we need to get the book ID. So qobj get book ID. Wonderful. Now we check for errors. So if details list is nothing, then get error else. It means everything's fine. So Control C is gonna be 27 can't load list of booking details, and for this one loading list of booking details. Okay, so it's as simple as that. We will need to save this. Wonderful. and we will run code. Okay, hit go, and 2 errors. Wonderful. Okay, so we certainly did something wrong here. Okay, let's have a look in here and click. Okay, that's good. So step over. Maybe just wait a second. Okay, so that we could just trace and see the program. Step over. No problem. Okay, so book was inserted successfully, and now, sorry. Okay, go here. Okay, so and then again inserted successfully. Okay, let's go to the booking details. Now this one, now we are going to call the load function. So we're going to say step into, so that we can get the right into the code. Step over. Okay, another step into. Come on. And step into. Now we get our function. So select star from queue where student ID and book ID. Wonderful. So this is the student ID. This is the book ID. Wonderful. And we will continue now. Step over. Yep. So there is a record indeed. So we will create a new student object. Step over. And now we will load that student from the database. Go. And it seems that loading the student is causing an error. Okay, so we will have to check what happened here. So loading the student is causing an error here. Okay, so continue running. Good. Can't load details. Love it. So now we will say go again, run again. Okay, so we got into this one. Now step into. Okay, step over. Yep. Student, go here. Oh, the record of the student does not exist, and it seems I did something wrong. So let's go to the tester. Maybe I need to go back to the tester form, maybe not in the code itself, but rather in the testing. Go here. Just a second. Sorry about that, guys. Okay. So where is that? Where's this part? I have this one. Okay. So student ID st2. Have I removed the student st2? You see, where is st2 here? Okay. Okay, so st2 is used here for loading. Maybe I will add this part. Go to the tester. I'm gonna use this as st4. Okay, student toad4, for example, blah blah blah, and login name toad4. Okay, and if not, we will get an error in this case, in which it should say what test 26 failed. Can't create student record. Okay, so dimension flag. Wait a second. G equal true. This is gonna be flg equal false. Okay, so here f g then. Okay, so let's continue the recording process. So if everything goes well, uh, just say here, and let's this one. Okay, so for the queue here, instead of st4 students, sorry, uh, we'll get student id st4, and yeah, and all should go well, I suppose, right? Okay, so let us save this one. Sorry, just a second. Okay, again I did something wrong. So let's have a look. Uh, so we will need to load this student. We have student ID 0, load booking. So it has the student ID 0, wonderful. So I'm doing something wrong with the test. Let's go here. And obviously I'm doing so because this need to be number 4 here. 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. Okay, and then st4.insert. This is what happens when you copy and paste mindlessly because you make a ton of mistakes. Okay, so okay, let us run again. Sorry, continue. Okay, so we were able to load the booking details, but for the list we couldn't do it. So one test succeeded, the other failed. Let's go back to our form and get down to the, okay, this one. Okay, and let me click this here. Okay, so at this point what do we have? We have the book object over here, and we have the book ID, which is 94. Wonderful. And I will give it a step into. Okay, wonderful. And so start from Q, where book ID, order by O. So you can see here, this is the SQL statement. I didn't pass the parameter, and book ID. Wonderful. And now we continue running the code, and it still didn't work well for us. Let's go again. Step into, step into book ID. This should be what? 99. Okay, wonderful. And step. Oh, sorry, by mistake. Came to this one. Didn't want to go into the details of this method. But anyway, so okay, we got this one. We need to get the student ID. Wonderful. And we will load. This is gonna be student ID, and this is gonna be the book ID. No problem. So step over. Good. We get the result. Okay. And this is wonderful. So it did perform successfully. It loaded that result. Okay. So the process was successful. It seems that if detail list, this is not nothing. There's nothing, display failed. What am I doing here? Wait a second. Oh, it did say it's successful. Oh, now I know what the error. Okay, I'm very sorry about that. This is the previous error. Okay, what I need to do is, so it was working all the time. The first thing that happens, I should say, list box 1 dot items dot clear and list box 2 dot items dot clear to clear things up. So we save here, we click play over here and hit go. Oh, sorry about that, and come on and run, and everything is fine as you can see. And we click this again to remove the previous tests and repeat them. Okay, so yeah, so far all is looking fine. So now we can work on the graphical user interface. So let's go to the client project. I'll make this as a startup project. Go here. What we have here, this is our main window, right? So we have data entry, we have the box over here, and yeah, we have search, cancel search. We might want to add a features for displaying booking. So probably we could make one by double clicking or something like that. So uh, I am gonna double click this one here, this method. Okay, let me stop recording for a second. Okay. Okay, sorry about the pause there, but hopefully there is no noise now. Okay, so now what we want to do is go to double click event. So when we double click a book, we will display whomever is trying to borrow uh, uh, that book. So this is double click. Okay, so this method is used to display all students who want to borrow the book. Wonderful. So what we should do next is simple. We first do a check. So if gv3.selected rows.count equals 0, then exit. So no problem. Just checking a record exists. Next we need to get the selected row. So I'll have to remember it should be book ID, right? So dimension book ID as string equal gv3 dot selected rows of 0 dot cells of book ID dot value. So this will get us the book ID. Next we need to get the details. So dimension borrow details equal library management system details grid class dot get booking list for book, and here we need to pass DBMS, right, and we need to pass the book ID. Next we need to check that everything went well. So if borrow details is nothing, then MSG box error while loading booking details, and critical or okay only, and error. Wonderful, and exit sub. Okay, next we need to create a user interface for displaying these details. Okay, so let's save this one here, and let's go to this guy over here, and yeah, I'm gonna say add a new Windows form. Okay, I can say display booking details form. Display booking details form. I'm gonna say add here. Okay, wonderful. Let me go back to one of these just to see how it looks like. I need to choose the same style over here. Okay, copy, and I'll paste this one here. and click here. This should be go here, enable control for with the form for your style. There's going to be dialog, fixed dialog, wonderful, and there should be, where's the maximize, now maximize box, now minimize box, and yeah, anything else? No. Okay, display book details. Okay, so there is no need to OK cancel. We just need an OK button, right? So yeah, so just say me.dialog result equal OK. Wonderful. And next we need to, sorry, we just need to display the details over here. Okay, it seems it's raining outside. I don't know if you can hear the rain. Anyway, let's go here and we will place a data grid view. Okay, so let's go back here. I will just copy one. Which one to copy? Which one to copy? Which one to copy? I would go to the main window, and this is the books one. I will just copy this one, data grid view, and go. Sorry for switching rapidly. I'm just trying to do things quickly so as not to waste time. Okay. The reason I just copied and pasted because there are some settings I don't want to repeat manually. Okay. And also the title here. This should be booking information. Okay, or let's say booking queue. Booking queue is a better title. Now, what do we need to display here? I'm gonna say the columns. I'm gonna add a number of columns. So first one is gonna be student ID, or let's say student name. This will represent the first and last name. Okay, student year. Okay, should I say booking order? Okay, I'm gonna say this is order add. So we need to display student name, year, and order. Hit OK, and let's go here. I will put a public member here, public details list, list as list of, what is it, library management system. Okay, wonderful. So basically we will pass this window the list over here and it will display it. So how is that done? It is done like this: for each item in details list. Okay, you say data grid view 3 dot rows dot add, and now itm dot we need to display student object. Okay, dot get dot get student first get student name. Wonderful. And then itm dot student object dot get student year. Wonderful. And finally we need to say itm dot what uh, order. What was the name of the booking order? Okay, and that's it. That should be it. So now to the calling method. This one's finished. Close this, close this. Okay, so what happens here, sorry about that, dimension details window as new display booking details form, detail details window dot details list equal for details. Okay, and this should be shown as a dialog. So if you I will just recap this very quickly. When you double click a row, okay, you will get the book ID. The book ID will be used in order to get the list of details, and then you will create a details window. You will pass the list of details to the window so that the window will know what to display, and then you will show it to the end user. Okay, so we will save this one here. Yeah, and before I can continue, I'll have to go to the staff method and show table data so that I can know how to log in. Okay, come on, come on, come on. We have a Smith 99123. We have Todd 123. Okay, so let's run go Todd 123 go, and let's go to the box over here. I will double click, and no one booked this one. This book. Double click the second one. Also, now I booked this book. So uh, let us fill some data in the database. Okay, so we have the books, right? I'm gonna say show table data. Okay, so the book ID, let's get to this one. Great, flying monkeys, whatever. This is the ID here, and let's go to the students. Show table data. Okay, come on, come on, come on. Student ID, we have 6 and 25. So let's go to the queue. So remember the value 6 and 25. Okay, we have 6 over here, 1, we have 25 over here, 2. Okay, so now we place manually some booking information so that we make sure the user interface is working fine. So let's run this. Todd 123 go, and books, double click, sorry, the second one, double click on that, and error while loading booking details. So let's have a look. What did happen? Let's go over here. Yep, this one. And I will double click this. This is a step over. This one, oh, it's nothing, so there is an error. Let's go back to this method. I'm gonna say step into the book ID here. Yes, step into. I don't know if you can hear the wind. It's getting too fast. Okay, so this is the list. So select the blah 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 and go. Now student ID, we get that. Load the booking record. We have student ID here 6, and this one can find monkeys. Okay, and step over, and it wasn't able to load the book details. So let's run this again. Double click this and run again. Okay, so we have student ID, book ID, no problem. We are gonna step into this method. Okay, student ID and the book ID, wonderful. Select star, blah blah blah. Okay, student ID, book ID, go. And it was able to find the record. So we have the student object here. We will pass it. Wonderful. Now we have the book object. Okay, let's just space this book ID, no problem. So book ID here, and yeah, this should work. Maybe the error is in here. Okay, so loading the book caused the error. Let's go here. Select the star, book ID over here, whatever, and step over. So it was able to find the book. Now we are gonna get the ID. Sorry, let me just show you this. Okay, so we get the ID, we get the title, the author, publication year, press, subject. Okay, so what do we have here? Conversion from type db null to string is not valid. Okay, so this is kind of useful error. By useful I mean for us, because this is one of the very common mistakes that I get. What's happening, we are trying to read a null value and we for some reason forgot to enter one of the fields. So converting this null field into string does not work well. So what we can do is something very simple. We can just say this and empty string. What this will do, it will add and it will concatenate an empty string with a null resulting in an empty string. So you won't get this error anymore. Okay? If you want to do it the other way, you could just check for null value and the code will be a little bit longer, but it's the same effect. Sorry. Now we will double click here. Sorry about that, and continue. And continue. There we go. And yeah, we have student trying to book. He's the second year. He wants to. Okay, so this one stopped again. Okay, so you can see that these two students are trying to book or borrow this book. As you can see here, this is the order, no problem there. Okay, so you can sort on based on that. So it's very straightforward. Let me just move the breakpoint and okay. Now one of the things that we have, we want to make this window appear at the very center. So double click that, and there's a startup position, uh, center screen, could use center sphere, center parent, whatever. Okay, so it's gonna be Todd 123 go, and there's the book. I'll double click this one, no problem. Double click the second. I got these. Okay, so that's good. We finished the user interface. Display queue for book. Okay, we finished this part. What need to be done for the next part is creating the web interface for displaying the queue. For this, we need to do two things. First, display the list of available books that the user haven't booked before. Okay, this is the first thing. And then after that, we will use a similar technique to display the details, but instead of a form, Windows form, we will have a web form, and the way it's being used is a little bit different. So we'll get into that later. I think this is enough for today. You will find the updated source code on the website, so check it out. Thanks for watching and have a nice day. Okay, yeah, just one thing. Let me see how much work do we still have to do, and quite a lot, about 30%, so the last third of the work. Yeah, okay, that's it. Bye bye.